welcome to Key Wisdom Tarot. My name's Ruth, I'm your Reiki Master and Tarot Reader, and this video could be called What the Bleep 2019. Why have you been so intense 2019? Am I cursed 2019? I haven't decided what I'm going to call this video, but it's along those lines, I think. Now today we're going to be looking back at the energies of 2019. We're going to be looking at what they told us, what they told me right at the beginning of the year in January, and we're also going to be looking at what impact that's had on me, on you as an individual, on your life. What types of things should you have learned, and what can you take forward with you into the new year? Okay, now I know, we know, and that's why you're here, how challenging the energy has been in 2019, and this video is going to basically explain why. Okay, so we're going to look at some very key transits, okay, the solar and the lunar eclipses that have taken place this year. 5 so far, 4 so far, 1 to come in December. So the part solar eclipse and the total lunar eclipse both happen in January in Capricorn season, and the message of those energies combined basically tells us this: that we're going to be doing what we do, but we're going to be noticing how we respond to what we do, both mentally, emotionally, physically and spiritually. And that is because of two things. It's firstly because the eclipse happens in Capricorn, during Capricorn season. So Capricorn is all about manifestation and security. It's about establishing security, and it's about maintaining that security. And it's also, the sign of Capricorn is about transformation through responsibilities. So because we work so hard, that transforms us also in a spiritual way. And the sun refers to or talks about and governs our external actions and experiences, the things that we do out in the world. So an eclipse sheds light on. It sheds light on our motivations, maybe things that have been hidden from our conscious mind. So between the months of January and July, we're really considering and noticing the impact of our experience, how what we do affects our mood, affects us emotionally, and affects us spiritually, affects us mentally. What does that mean for us, for you? Did you like that? So what does it mean? Well, an eclipse in Capricorn means that we're noticing our attitudes, our disappointment, our dissatisfaction. You know, if something or someone, if a situation or circumstance makes you feel uncomfortable and you do it anyway, you will have noticed that between January and July. You will have started to question, you would have started to reflect on whether or not this is something that you can continue to do. That's been the point, that's the point and the energy and the message really behind that, those eclipses during Capricorn season. You know, ultimately, what you feel matters. And that's kind of the dawning realization you would have started to have as you continued through this year, through January, through February, through March, through April. You would have slowly, it would have started to dawn on you in a real serious way, in a way that you've never really, in a sobering way, in a way that you've never really taken seriously before. You know, that actually it does matter how I feel. It does matter that this makes me feel this way, that this job or this relationship or this situation makes me feel a certain way. It does matter. That's the dawning realization that should have started to hit you, you know, from January, and as we moved through the month of to July toward the next eclipses during Cancer season. And we're hit really right at the beginning of July. We're hit with a solar eclipse, and then we have toward the end of the month a lunar eclipse. Now, it's interesting because the eclipses in July mirror mirror January's eclipses and help us to establish balance. But ultimately, there should have been a shift, a strong shift in energy in July for you. You should have noticed it, okay? Because this is a time where you start to establish balance. And there's reasons for this. It's because from the month of January up to July, we have been seeing, understanding, learning, reflecting, considering on how our actions and our motivations affect us, affect our physical energy, affect our strength, affect us mentally and emotionally and spiritually. So now it's time from July, because of these eclipses that happen in July, it's about adjusting what we are doing. Because we have now learned, we have a fuller understanding of how our actions impact us emotionally, how our the things that we decide, the decisions that we make, the responsibilities we have a fuller understanding of how they impact us mentally and emotionally, and how they impact our mental well-being and our physical health and strength as well. So some of us could have got to a point in July or since July where we have surrendered to circumstance. And that's because of the influence of the moon. So the moon really focuses on us and focuses on our attention on our inner world. It's the awareness of our emotions, of our unconscious drivers and motivations, and that these are brought out to life during the eclipse. So with the combination in close proximity during Cancer season, it's about facing up to sobering truths and sobering realities. It's about we can recognize that feeling of imbalance. We can feel it within us physically, within us emotionally, within us spiritually. We can feel that we're imbalanced. And so we now know and understand that actions are needed to change something, to redress this imbalance. This is how the eclipses in July have served to affect us. It's about trying to regain balance in some way, to establish balance in some way. But we may not have been able to do that yet. What does that mean for us, for you? Well, what it means, what it looks like, is probably some of this stuff, probably some candid conversations where you're speaking very honestly to your loved ones or your partner or your friends, or to yourself. You're speaking to yourself and saying, listen, have a word, sit down, you're not doing this anymore, you're not seeing this person anymore, or whatever it is for you. It could have meant, it may mean more time focused on yourself, focused on getting the rest, the help, the advice, the money, whatever it is you need to help you to restore balance, whatever it is you need that was stopping you from achieving balance, that was stopping you from realizing the impact of your lifestyle on you. Now, the moon is an interesting energy because it's a very spiritual place, or a very spiritual energy, the moon. And that's because it really does govern the other part of us. So everything that makes you that isn't physical, so anything that isn't your body, your physical body, all that other stuff is you, your thoughts, your ideas, your ambitions, your desires. That is all governed by the moon energy. And so with the solar and the lunar eclipse or together in Cancer, it means that we're being guided by that sense, guided by that part of us, that is not physical, by that part of us that doesn't think necessarily about physical things, or that doesn't think about worldly things, but really focuses that attention inward. And it's that part of you that's been driving you forward, that's been taking the steps during the last few months. So then we come thirdly and finally to December. We come to our final eclipse in the month of December, and it's really important to see the trajectory from that final eclipse as we enter 2020. So we have to wait till Boxing Day, till the 26th of December, to have our yearly solar eclipse in Capricorn, and this is a really significant energy to end the year and to actually begin 2020, because this transit on the 26th, this total solar eclipse is about building on our newly established foundations, building on your newly established foundations. You have really woken up this year. And that's what it feels like. It feels uncomfortable, doesn't it? It's like you are reborn almost. And it's uncomfortable to be that engaged with your reality. And that's really been the aim of this year. The aim of this year is about us being fully engaged with our reality. That's our experiences and our beliefs. That's our experiences out in the world, our relationships with other people, but also my feelings about myself, my self-esteem, how I treat myself. That type of engagement is tough, it's challenging, it's difficult. It's what I do every day, practicing mindfulness, being a Reiki master. It's what I have to do, it's part of my job. But this year, everyone had to do that. What does that mean for us, for you? You think I'd be bored of that, but I'm not. I mean, awareness, mental health awareness, and self-healing, growth and spirituality is all about your engagement with your reality. And that's what this year's been about. It's been about waking you, waking me, waking us all up so that we can engage with our reality, so we understand, well, where does my idea come from? Why do I do this? Why do I say that? Why do I act this way? Why do I respond this way? Those have been the type of questions, those have been the type of issues that you've been facing, and that level of reality, that level of awareness is intense, can feel intense to experience, because it means that ultimately this year, anything that's hidden from you, anything that you can usually keep below the surface, that you don't really have to face or deal with, anything like that, forget it. On the table, it's all there for you to see in front of you. You can see how it affects you. You can see how it affects your actions. You can see how it affects your self-esteem. Any emotional wounds that have been there, that have been hidden, you're going to have to face it this year. You would have had to face it this year. But you have to understand the significance of that. The significance of recognizing that you've got emotional wounds, responding to them, responding to those emotional wounds. What it makes you realize is that, I've been doing this, I've been working this hard, I've been in this relationship, I've been sustaining this lifestyle because of how I feel about myself, because of how I feel about a previous experience, because of this wounding that I've had, that I've carried with me. So ultimately, there have been very valuable lessons. There have been sobering truths in 2019, but it's a year that we can, these lessons, this wokeness, this intensity, this understanding is what we build on as we go forward into 2020. Look who I found. He's been sleeping all afternoon while doing that, aren't you, Tony? He's a good boy, aren't you, baby? Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, my darlings. You know, as I said, it's been an intense year, but we've learned a lot, hopefully. I know I have, and I hope that you have as well. I know Tiny has, haven't you, baby? Mwah. So, if you haven't already, my lovelies, please check out your Sun, Moon and Stars reading, intuitive tarot reading for December into January. If you've not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, because you're getting your new content soon. So you'll get 2020 readings. You'll also be getting this January into February readings as well for that time period. It's been a pleasure doing this video for you. I really hope you like it, and let me know what you think. Me and Tiny are going to have some dinner now, aren't we, Tiny? What are we having? We're going to have the nicest things, the little sausage rolls with cranberry. Oh, they're tasty, aren't they, baby? He just wants to go back to sleep. All right, my lovelies, have a wonderful Christmas, wonderful New Year. I'll speak to you before then anyway, but have a wonderful time, my darling. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're feeling energized and strengthened, ready for the for Christmas, and more importantly, the eclipse on the 26th. Okay, my darlings, take care. Bye.